Hi class, this is for lesson 2. As you know, we've been doing our learning target, which is students will be able to respond to increasingly challenging variety of texts that are read, heard, or viewed. And so you did one yesterday and, well, actually the past couple of days, and you were able to read a paired passage and you were able to go ahead and create a Venn diagram. And a lot of you are doing really well on those. I'm seeing some work come back. Whenever you do get it finished, don't hesitate to email it to me or Mrs. Wright, so that way she can forward it to me and I can kind of look at it before you're actually going ahead and doing Fridays. Because Fridays, is going to be, if once I start grading, when you turn in your work on Friday, that's the work that's going to be graded, okay? So here we go. So we're working on our paired passages, which we've been working on, and we did a little bit before we left for spring break. And so what I want to do now is I want to show you a different diagram. It is the T-chart. And I know that you guys have seen this before because we have done this in class. So what I have here is I have 2 paired passages. The first one is called 2 Miles for a Drink of Water, and the other one is called Little Miss Flint. So what we're going to see is after I'm reading this out loud, then we're going to go ahead and fill in our T-chart, our diagram, okay? It was 4:30 a.m. in Mabazwe, a country in Africa. Natalia, 13, got out of bed. She got dressed quietly. Her 3 young sisters were still asleep. Natalia slipped out of their hut and set off into the darkness. She moved briskly. There was no time to waste. Her journey would take hours. She would walk about a mile in the dark through fields of tall, snake-filled grasses. But she felt no fear. She had been making this trip twice a day, 7 days a week, since she was 10. Why? She was not heading to school or to a job. She was going to fetch the water that her family needed to survive. Okay, so that tells me quite a bit in that first paragraph. So I'm going to put a note that she walked 1 mile there and back. Okay. A luxury. For most of us in the United States, getting clean water is simple. You can just turn on the faucet. Maybe you can enjoy long showers. Maybe you leave the water running while you brush your teeth. You might have water fights with your friends on hot days. The average American uses 176 gallons of water a day. That could fill 1,900 soda cans. But for hundreds of millions of people around the world, even one sip of clean water is a luxury. In Natalia's village, water does not flow from a tap. There are no backyard hoses. Toilets and are pits in the ground. People use jugs of water for bathing, and every drop of water is precious. For years, the women and children of the village spent many hours each day fetching water for their families. It was mainly young girls who had to do this. Natalia was one of them. So that tells me that water is precious. See how I'm thinking out loud and writing notes? You don't have to print out this passage, but you do need to at least get a piece of paper and write some of the actual central ideas, because that's going to help you fill in this T-chart, okay? Let's see. So now we're going no other choice. Natalia loves to learn, but fetching water left little time for school. She was lucky to make it to school 1 or 2 days a week. She had to learn to read and write, but she dreamed of doing far more, like one day running her own school. Natalia had plenty of time to think about this dream on her trips to get water. The chore took most of her day. First, she walked to the water holes to the villagers that had dug into the ground. Then she waited in line for hours. When it's Natalia's turn, she filled a plastic jug with 3 to 5 gallons of water. A full jug weighs from 20 to 40 pounds. That is about the same as 3 backpacks filled with books. Imagine lugging all those backpacks for a mile. Now imagine doing it twice a day, every day. The water that Natalia brought home was gray and dirty. To kill the germs, her family boiled it before drinking it. But that didn't always work. The water often made them sick. There was no other choice, though. The muddy water holes were the only source of water for many miles around. Water-related illnesses are a big problem in developing countries like Zimbabwe. These illnesses kill as many as 3.4 million people a year. So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to write the central idea that water needs to be brought home to be boiled but it still makes them sick. Okay? On their own, Natalia's village needed a well. With a deep well, the villagers could bring up pure, clean water from underground. This water could not be contaminated by animal or human waste. A well would give the villagers safe water to drink. It would also set Natalia and other girls free. Natalia would not have to spend time hauling water. She would be able to go to school. But digging a well takes expensive machines. It takes experts too. The village could not afford these things. Okay, so they would need expensive equipment to help dig wells. Okay, into her hands. In 2014, an organization called Charity Water heard about Natalia's village. The organization has paid for 24,500 water projects around the world, 277 of those in Zimbabwe. Charity Water worked with a small group called World Vision Zimbabwe. In August 2014, large trucks rolled into Natalia's village. The workers found the best place for a well and started drilling. A thundering sound echoed through the village. Natalia and her neighbors came to watch. The workers covered the hole. They put a hand pump on the top. It was a simple pump sticking out of the ground, but it meant everything. For the first time, clean water poured into Natalia's hands. All right, so finally, they were able to get a well. Okay. Water is a gift. Natalia knows that the water is a gift that should not be taken for granted. It's been almost 4 years since her village got its well. Villagers are rarely sick. They can bathe whenever they want, and they never go thirsty. Natalia's life has changed. These days, she goes to school. She's a top student. She plans to run her own school. She wants to improve the lives of other girls through education. Natalia has another project too. The villagers chose her to be the president of the water committee. They thought her intelligence and confidence made her perfect for the job. Natalia oversees a team of 5 adults. The team watches over the well. Natalia still walks quickly, but no longer walks in the morning dark. Now her steps lead her toward the future she always dreamed of. So, I'm going to put, because of her bravery and commitment, she was able to reach her dreams. And I know that this is a nonfiction piece. So when I'm pulling that in there, that's maybe something that I can go ahead and put for kind of the differences or what the actual passage is about. The next one is called Little Miss Flint. It is how one girl is speaking out for water and saving her city. Unclean drinking water isn't a problem just in faraway countries. Here in the U.S., 27 million people, about 1 in 12 of us, live in places where the tap water might be unsafe, according to a study. One of these places is Flint, Michigan. In 2014, the city's tap water was found to contain lead. This metal can cause serious health problems, especially in children. Thousands were left without drinkable water. One of them was a girl named Mari Kopany. To raise awareness about this crisis, Mari sent a letter to the President, Barack Obama. He wrote her back. He also came to Flint to see how he could help. Mari is now 10. She continues to fight for clean water in her city. She's become known as Little Miss Flint. Here, she explains why and how she took action. So, I'm going to put, because of her bravery, she was able to help her town, Flint. Okay? How did you and your family first realize your tap water was unsafe? The water started giving my family terrible rashes. My baby sister's rashes got so bad that she needed special medicine. During this water emergency, what have you had to do to get clean water? We drive to pick up bottled water at special water stations. For showering, we have a water filter that allows us to shower for a couple of minutes. Any longer, and that water starts to burn our skin and eyes. Why did you decide to help solve the crisis? I couldn't sit back and watch my family suffer. Nobody was listening to the adults, so I decided to speak out for the kids here, especially my younger brother and sister. I wanted us to be able to take bubble baths, play in the sprinkler, and make lemonade using tap water. What action did you do to help? I went to protest, I wrote letters, and I spoke to anyone who would listen to me. How did you feel when President Obama came to Flint to meet with you? It was amazing. I couldn't believe that he came to Flint to see the water crisis firsthand. I am proud to have brought him here. What advice would you give to other kids who want to help solve big problems? It says never give up, even if people don't take you seriously at first. Keep on fighting. You can change the world as a kid, just like I am doing. So, she was able to help and still continues to help. So now that I have my notes, okay, my central ideas, then we're going to go ahead and fill in the T-chart. So I've got my little marker here. So let's see. We know that here I'm going to write our title, right? This is what we're both talking about. So it is 2 miles for a drink of water. Okay? And on this side, it's going to be Little Miss Flint. Okay? So let's go ahead and find some facts from the text, okay? Don't write your opinion. You're writing the facts that are on here. So we know that Natalia walked 1 mile there and back. Okay? And you don't have to copy this. This is just an example that I'm showing you so that when you're going on your own, you're able to do this independently. We also know that she also had to travel for water, right? She had to travel for water. Okay? We also know that water holes were germy and people got sick. So water holes were germy and got people sick. Okay? And then the last one is that she was determined. She was a determined little girl who, through all this bravery, was able to overcome this. So I'm going to put that she was brave and determined. Now as we go to Little Miss Flint, okay, so there's the same things there that we have. And so let's see what kind of similarities and differences this passage has from the previous one that we just read. So it said here that water contained led and made people sick. Oh, that sounds familiar, right? That's what we also saw on this passage. Then also it was she wrote to the president. That was pretty big, right? Because that's what helped the water situation after he came to visit. The next one is they had to travel to get water at water stations, right? So travel to water stations. Well, on this side, we see that Natalia had to walk for travel too. So there's a lot of similarities. Then we have the one where she also took action, right? Because she was brave and determined, she was able to help her town, okay? Her town, Flint, with their water issue. So by looking at this, if you take a look at it, you'll see a lot of the differences. There's a few, but most of all, there's a lot of similarities, okay? So what you're going to do today is you're going to go ahead and read the passage for lesson 2. You're going to click on it. You're going to put in Stanley 20 for your password. You're going to read both of the passages, and then you're going to create a T-chart, this diagram, and then you're going to go ahead and email it. Now, if you have any questions or concerns, then please go ahead and contact me or Mrs. Wright. Okay, I hope to see you. I can't wait to see you guys earlier today from 1:30 to 2:30 for our Zoom meeting. Until then, bye.